not go too heavy. Let's go ahead and do a little 30 action on the hammer curl. For the hammer curl, I like to put my hand underneath. That way all the weight sits, on the brachialis, just running through here, uh, running through this. So it helps me isolate the muscles involved with hammer curls better. You want to keep your grip a little loose. Make sure you're using the muscles that you want to isolate, as opposed to just dropping like a nuclear bomb and hitting everything in the vicinity. Sometimes you want a tactical bomb, a precision airstrike, where you're just hitting those muscles and not leaking energy anywhere else. That's the main point of isolation, is lifting with the muscle intended and not leaking any energy to any other muscles. I love those holds. Those holds are great for strengthening your tendons, ligaments, if there's any there. Isometric holds are key when it comes to getting all your weight up, all your lifts up. So make sure you're doing them if you're not doing them already. And as a matter of fact, I recommend at least taking 1 or 2 days of the week to focus allocated time just on holds. So let's go ahead and 40. Let's go ahead and jump to the 50. Let's go ahead and jump to the 60. Let's see how we do with that. I haven't done 60 in a while. Let's go 35s on this bad boy. When you do these hammer curl exercises, you want to isolate as much as possible with heavier weight. The safest way, in my opinion, for you to do this is to have a stable base. The more stable your base, the better isolation you're going to have. So I like to do feet, shoulder, at least shoulder width apart or more. Not too much, but a little more is fine. Toes pointed outward. You can use this for all your lifts. This is going to be helpful for almost all your lifts, unless you're trying to make it hard, which is a different style or tool that you can use later. But for now, I'm teaching you this way. Shoulder width apart, toes pointed out. That way you have a wider foundation, a more stable base. Flex your core. That way you prevent energy leakage. Once again, that's not what you want. You don't want any energy leaking anywhere else except the muscle you're trying to work. And most recently, people have seen a lot of people flexing, saying flex your glutes. That's a good one as well. You can flex your core, flex your glutes. As a matter of fact, flex your whole body. Flex your whole body. I like to flex my chest when I'm doing bicep and tricep, because that stabilization helps you isolate. So don't sleep on it. And as far as, biceps, you can do them like narrow. You can do them wide too. The muscles, they go wide and they go narrow. So you can do them whatever way you feel like. The only thing that I would be against is you just doing one, just narrow or just wide. You have to try and be as well-rounded of an athlete as you can. I'm trying to reach down as far as I can to get that ultimate stretch. That's gonna improve the definition of all my muscles. Once again, you want to keep your core flexed as much as possible. And especially when you're doing a heavier weight. You don't want to catch a hernia one day and out of nowhere and be like, why did that happen? Well, your abdominal, what they call the inguinal area can only take so much So you gotta keep an eye on your health. Make sure that you take breaks. You can't just destroy. You're starting to feel, this is the inguinal area right here, kind of the groin area. Starting to feel any pain there, massage it, ice it, warm it, let it rest as much as it needs to, go lighter on it to where it can heal. That way you don't get a hernia at some point. Wear power belts, waist trainers, et cetera, uh, you know, to help. Let's hop into the 40s on the by. My hammer curls are pretty strong. I've done reverse curls pretty heavy for a long time. So my brachialis is pretty strong. As a matter of fact, too strong compared to my biceps. So do a weight that's appropriate for you. Oh, that's one of the benefits of doing a lot of reverse curls. In case you haven't been doing them, they make you really, they make your forearms and your brachialis really strong. Today we are doing a standard curl. I'm gonna cap it off at 35 today. I max out like, I don't know, probably like 50 plus, but for the sake of, once again, periodization, we did 40s. We did up to 40s last time on the standard curl. So today we're gonna drop it down a little bit, let the biceps semi-rest until the next heavy session. How I like to do my standard curl, once again, solid foundation, feet shoulder width apart at least, flex your core, flex your glutes, and actually flex your chest. Put your shoulder in front of your chest, and you can even use your elbow to kind of cradle, help you, kind of like a preacher curl, not to help you lift it, but help you stabilize. A little body language is okay. Depends what you're doing. You can you can you can do this exercise more like a compound in a sense, to where you're not just isolating your bicep, you're also using your forearm to lift the weight. There's nothing wrong with that. Same thing for isolating. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do a lighter weight, and you can do it with the wrist out or bent, and yeah, you'll feel it more. But also, when you go all the way down like that, your tendon will get some wear and tear. So you don't want to do that all the time. It's good. It's good for isolation. It's good for the contraction. But there's just different tools that you can use. All right, this will probably be the last lat last lat set. We've done 4 in total. And for the sake of getting to the rest of the workout. Yes. All right. Let's do hammer curl. I think we can drop down on the weight on hammer curl. Once you do 5, that's a good indicator that you're only going downhill from there. My forearms they're kind of big proportionate to my biceps. So I'm trying to, it's been a while since I worked them out. So today's fine, but got to keep an eye on them. I don't want them to be bigger than my biceps and look weird. Whew. I think it's time to drink some water. I do like to sometimes use the weight more of a compound lift. That's the only way to challenge yourself sometimes. Sometimes the feeling of the heavier weight is also kind of addicting. So maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's a fault of, us, whatever we are, bodybuilders or powerlifters. It feels good to do a heavier weight. Even if there's a little other muscles involved. I think if it's a little, it's better than when it's a lot of other muscles involved. So I'll take the little and push myself a little more. I do drop sets to fully isolate the weight later. Let's see what to do with the 60. As you can see, there was some energy leakage there. Maybe I'm just warming up on it. I'll try one more set if I'm still leaking energy to other places, and I'll just drop the weight. If you're leaking energy, if you're using other muscles to lift the weight, and you're not getting the full benefit of isolation. If you're using it as a compound movement and you know what you're doing, that may be fine. But for the sake of this exercise where we're trying to isolate the muscle, we may, need to go lighter to get that full isolation. My theory is if you can't dead stop the weight, you can't fully isolate it. Like 100% isolation. Like there's different levels of isolation that you can do, 80, 90, whatever, up to 100. If you can't actually isometrically hold the weight, in my opinion, you can't. You're not able to fully isolate that weight. Yeah, you can work out with it, but it's not 100% isolation because the only way you can isolate something is if you control it. So unless you can stop the weight and hold it, it's not 100%. Get it? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that felt a lot better. I used to go heavier on this, but once again, the teres minor, you gotta be careful with it. It's a small muscle. Look it up on Google if you don't know, but you can get injured pretty quickly if you're leaking energy. Leak too much on that one. That one supports the rotator cuffs. It can really mess you up. So don't play with that one. If you get injured, you might be out for a year or two on that one because it'll cause a whole mess of problems for you. So don't play with it. I don't want to risk it too much. So we're gonna be done with this exercise. I think I'm gonna come back and burn out on it later. So we stopped at 60. We'll probably burn out, 40 or 50, 60, whatever. For the sake of time, I don't have much time. We're gonna keep this train moving. I'm gonna think of what else we can do next. Let's do some bicep cable or rope. Love this one. For this one, you want to get a good stable position, and this for brachialis purpose. So I'm gonna be doing the hammer throw grip. You don't want to grip the cable too hard with your wrist. You want to make sure you're using the intended muscle to work this out. We're just doing a little 30. Cable is great for that definition. In case you're wondering how you get shapely muscles, well, the different grips and the different handles, they're all going to develop your muscle in a different way. So if you really want to accentuate the natural fibers and rotation of the muscle, then the rope is a great tool for that, for whatever it may be, for little nip, for triceps or biceps. I'm a big fan of using the natural fibers of the muscle to work out. What I like to do, I like to put the biceps in front of the chest, flex your chest. Considering we did 40 on the hammer curls, this is decent for decent weight. With these workouts is mainly the forearms. I don't know if you can see. But I'm gonna teach you a good forearm exercise I like to do. You don't have to do heavy weight on this one. See? I don't know if you can see from there. It's all forearm. Yeah, there's other supporting muscles. This is just a wrist curl, basically, or forearm curl, whatever you may call it. I love these for burning out. You want nice forearms, nice wrists, strong wrists. That's great for that. It's like a cat swipe. Once again, it's working the natural fibers with the natural fibers of the muscle, which I love so much. When it comes to bodybuilding or just being the best version of yourself, you always want the best shape for yourself. That's why I like working the natural fibers of the muscle. Who wouldn't want the best shape? You kind of have to assess your own body and see how your shape is. See how your body shape interacts with certain exercises. That way, because everyone's shape is different. That way you can do exercises that benefit whatever shape you have. And you can just look in the mirror or tape yourself and see what all the different exercises do to your body or how they're growing. So play around with that, and I hope you get the best shape that you can achieve. But if you really want to isolate lats, you want to protract your shoulder blades. You want to basically let your shoulder blades pull forward. You can have you want to have a little lean. You don't want to be fully bent to the point it's unnatural, but a little lean is fine. You want to loosen up that grip and lift this with your lats only. This is like, this path is more middle, lower, more middle. All right, we're gonna check out the pump real quick. So, once again, keep an eye on your proportions. My biceps grow quick, my back grows quick, so I have to make sure they stay proportionate to the rest of my body. My legs grow quick too, so whatever it is that your body does, whether one part grows faster than the other, identify those and modify accordingly. All right. I think that's gonna be it for the recorded workout. We're gonna go ahead and burn out on all the exercises. I think it's a long enough video. I've gotten to the bread and butter of most of the workout. So good gains, good luck to everybody, and thanks for tuning in.